Hello, Tarashi 4 here, again with more Creepypasta. Hey, what do you expect? I'm on a roll here. Anyway, this one was becoming definitely my favorite one, because even though it is a Creepypasta, it goes from a bad ending to a happy ending. Well, sort of in my opinion. But hey, you might like it. Anyway, the name of it is called Tarnished, by Hear the Voices, and it's Pokemon Heart Gold creepypasta. I think you might like it. Anyway, here we go. Dad, thanks, I said happily, clutching the box in my hands gleefully. It was a copy of Heart Gold off of eBay. They said it had never been opened, yet there was no cellophane around it. But regardless, I was sitting on the family couch, gritting my teeth out, the small brown packet in my lap, bubble wrap scattered around, and popped. It's no problem, Sophia, said my father, and I just grinned even further before taking the package and my DS, which I've been lovingly playing Golden Sun DS on for a while, to my room, bouncing on my bed as I opened my laptop on the rather low bedside table, letting it come to life. Now it was time to research Pokemon. Yes! I've never been to Pokemon before. I knew its mascots, yes, but I never got a copy of it until now. My friend had highly suggested Heart Gold to me, and I had agreed. Plus, it had gold in the title. That made me think of Golden Sun, and it pleased me oh so much. Gold is one of my favorite colors, and Golden Sun was a great name. How fondly my friend spoke of Heart Gold made me want to play it too. So I had begged Dad to pre-order it for me using my birthday money. I wasn't even old enough to use eBay yet. I logged into my messaging service and began typing to Endgame, as his username was. It was quite nice, really, despite how ominous his name sounded. Hello, typed Endgame, and I was so giddy that my fingers kept on hitting the wrong keys, but I eventually managed to get the message I wanted sent right. Hi, I got Heart Gold. Which starter should I get? There are 3, right? Yes, answered Endgame. You either get the fire type Cyndaquil or the water type Totodile. Chikorita, the grass type, sucked. Chikorita sucked? I frowned and shrugged, popping my game from the box into my DS, placing Golden Sun safely into its box, then turning on my DS. The opening intro was wonderful, a large bird of many colors flying. The art was quite good. I chuckled and pressed start. To my surprise, the game wasn't due. It was only a few minutes in. It also said my character's name was Gold. I shrugged and inquired to this. Maybe they just tested it to make sure it was working before sending it, he said. I agreed. Yeah, probably. And then shrugged it off. I was a male. He said that I would have a choice of either a female or a male. The game seemed to go normally, at least from what he said. Only I was starting Professor Elm's lab right in front of the table where, as Endgame said, 3 balls were, each containing a starter. I blinked and checked the balls, staring at one, then the next before I inspected all of them. Now I entered the judging stage, wondering which one to pick. The Chikorita was the cutest, but Endgame said it sucked. Cyndaquil was adorable, and Totodile, well, I didn't like Totodile much due to my fear of crocodiles and alligators, so I went with Chikorita despite my friends saying it sucked. I didn't want to pick Cyndaquil. He had said everyone and their moms picked it. Gee, thanks. I have a Cyndaquil by the name of Giotto. It was a male, so I named him Charles. I know it was a sweet name, and I told my friend so. He just gave me a series of periods before I demanding why I chose Chikorita. I told him the truth that I liked it best. He responded if you said so, but have fun with Bugsy and Faulkner and that stupid cow lady. It's stupid not to restart until you get a female thanks to that cow. Cow lady? I shrugged it off. I would see her when the time comes. The game proceeded. Professor L told me to see Mr. Pokemon? Might as well as. I proceeded as soon as I had gotten an egg. Endgame told me informed me a Togepi was in it. It involved Charles, and I found out that Whitney was the cow lady, and she indeed was evil. But eventually, Charles came over his attraction to Razor Leaf, her milk taken to fainting, and I rejoiced happily. I also became somewhat unsettled when Professor Elm called me right after my Togepi hatched. I dared to ask it, Endgame said it was fine. He also said to watch out for my rival, who I named Silver. How original! Later, in the radio tower. Well then, I was off. until Dad made me go to sleep at about 2 in the morning, and I got to bed 2 hours prior to that. I was proud of myself. However, I managed to get 5 badges and a mighty team of a male Togetic named Luce, a male Manginium named Charles, a female Crobat named Zooter, and finally, but not at least of all, a male Ferret named Fella. I don't know why Fella, but Fella. I woke at 10 and grinned and happily grabbed my DS off the table, tapping away at the buttons, assuming my triad of beating the gym leaders. Yes, I swore, I, the ultimate gold, would kick tush with Charles, Zooter, Luce, and Fella. Endgame was awake, oddly enough, but I typed a happy greeting to him regardless. How's the game going? He questioned, and I answered, good, I've got 5 badges now. He seemed impressed due to his next comment, and then I happily continued scorching everyone with Charles and Zooter. Fella and Luce usually didn't get used thanks to Zooter and Charles doing such fast work. Eventually at lunchtime, about 3 p.m., I got my 6th badge, now wondering where to go. Everyone was at a good level and I was fine with Silver stripping me. Thank God I was a male. It would have been awkward if I was female in the tower. Then, finally, once again at midnight, I got my 8th badge. I had to replay through Heart Gold again. Endgame didn't answer when I informed him of this, but I shrugged it off. He only went to sleep around this time. Usually he left his computer on as well by accident. What? Excuse me. Excuse me. Something happened. I accidentally pressed, the wrong thing. I accidentally pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. No, seriously, I'm sorry. Anyway, back where I was continuing off, once again at 1 a.m., after I finally got into Victory Road and said bye to Lyra, my childhood friend apparently, Dad forced me to go to sleep. In the morning, I was once again inside it. I grabbed my Heart Gold without turning on my laptop and started playing it happily, humming loudly. In the previous night, I had acquired 2 new Pokemon for my party. Fussy, the female Heracross, who took forever to get due to having to put honey on the tree, and finally, Fluffy, the male pillow swine. I evolved him as soon as possible. I loved him when I was a swine dove, but being a pillow swine, he was so much cuter. Elite 4 time! Will went through quite easily to Fluffy. He earthquaked everything but those Zatus. I had to blizzard them. Koga was slightly more challenging, but finally most of his Pokemon fell to Fluffy's mighty earthquake. I had blizzard the Crobat as well. Bruno, I decided to use Charles as Zooter for. Charles 1KO'd his Onix with much ease. I literally laughed and had the Zooter spam fly over and over on his others. Eventually I came to Karen. She would have been a challenge had I not had Fussy. Fussy easily close combated every one of her Pokemon, and I wondered. Finally, at this point my Nundum had 6 Pokemon. Then came Lance. I was amazed by his choice. His Charizard flamethrowered poor Fluffy and Charles. His Gyarados toppled Zooter. One of his Dragonites toppled my poor Heracross. Finally, with just Fella left, his Aerodactyl took out my Togetic. I won, Fella delivering a devastating headbutt to his last Dragonite. I was really hard even by this point, amazed by the fact that I narrowly won. Even Silver at this point couldn't tarnish my record. Proudly I, the so-called gold, accepted my victory. The credits rolled and I finally turned on my laptop to tell Endgame of my victory. Great job, Queen! He rewarded me. My username was Queen of Unicorns, so I had somewhat embarrassed being called Queen was right nice. But after the credits went, I was happy to see that I could save, and my team would still exist. But I was surprised that was another cutscene, different from the ones from before. This time, it was just Lyra walking to the left of Newbark, her Meryl following her. Her sprite moved at half speed at one. When she stopped, there was a rather large tree. I swear it wasn't there before. It was to the right of Professor L's laboratory, and I was watching intently. Huh? This was me, bemused as I watched. Her sprite stopped, and a text box popped up. It said, "What is that?" It was Lyra speaking, I could tell. For one thing, the text was pink. It clearly belonged to her. She stepped ahead 2 boxes, and then what I saw shocked me. Silver was at the bottom of the tree. His sprite looked like it was sitting. "Are you okay?" said the new text box. Then I saw Lyra's sprite move forward another 2 steps, right next to Silver's side. Dot 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 was his reply, and his words were silver, not pink or black or even red. What's wrong? Lyra again. Dot dot dot. I frowned. This looked like it was going nowhere. It then surprised me. Sneasel. His text box had changed, and at last he spoken. A sad icon appeared over Lyra, like they did for Pokemon. What happened? She inquired. Gold. What's it? She persisted, and seemed to enter a sitting position as well. Meryl's sprite jumped into her legs, and it looked like she was sitting with Meryl on her lap. Gold killed my Sneasel! His text had become bold now, and both I and Lyra jumped back. I had dropped my DS, thankfully on my bed, and turned to Endgame, asking if this happened. His response really scared me. No, it must have been hacked. Get rid of it as soon as you can, 'cause hacked games are not good, Queen. Despite my fear of it, I swallowed and turned back to my game, pressing A to let the dialogue go farther. I was quite stupid, but, well, curiosity killed the cat. I should have called myself Queen of Cats instead of unicorns. Gold killed my Sneasel! Excuse me, it happened again. And now it was apparent. I ignored it, though it was just some random leaves over his legs. It was now clearly a Sneasel. It wasn't torn or bloody, though, just limp. Gold? Lyra said, as she stood and took a step back. Gold wouldn't do something like that. I felt proud of her. She was defending me. My namesake. He wouldn't, right? What's your name? And now my jaw dropped. She wasn't defending me anymore? She seemed pretty uncertain now. Her sprite had turned upward, then downward, then towards Silver again, while she was looking from side to side uncertainly. Silver, said Silver, and he seemed to bend over further over the corpse of Sneasel. That got me wondering. Had I really killed his Sneasel? Come to think of it, what happened to the rest of his Pokemon? Curious, I glanced down to find that Lyra was speaking again. Silver, right? I'm sorry for your loss. I don't know what I'd do if my Meryl I once died, but I'm sorry, Silver. I promise I'll talk to Gold. I actually swallowed. I was expecting this. What if she interrogated me? No, that was silly. They were just pixels, right? Then again, Endgame told me that most stories like this that were super creepy started like that. It got worse since the people were trying to deny it. So, I decided to be a rebel, just embraced myself during the inevitable interrogation. Once I looked back down, it was back to me, sitting, not in my room, but downstairs with Mom, and she was saying something. Lyra wants to talk to you, Gold. I sighed and closed my eyes before pressing A. Then when I closed my eyes, Lyra was in the room with me and my mother. My mother said she had to go and see one of her friends at Cherry Grove. She would see me later. Then her sprite left, and I was alone with Lyra. Her Meryl wasn't there either. Maybe she had left behind with Silver. Yes, I could see Lyra offering him a Pokemon for a companion while she talked to her best friend. Gold? Pink text again. It sounded sad. I was sure there was a sad chime somewhere too, but maybe it was just my imagination. Silver, a boy with red hair. She was talking like I didn't know my rival. Maybe she didn't know I knew him. He says you killed his Pokemon, his Typhlosion, his Sneasel. Did you? Up came the yes-no option. I switched between the two, eyeing yes and no cautiously. Yes, would probably provoke quite a violent reaction, considering what Endgame had told me of which the hacked games, and also just plain haunted games. No, judging by the same things he told me would probably provoke a don't lie sentence. I sighed and braced myself. Then I clicked A. Yes, in a new text box. The text was golden. It was definitely me, as Gold speaking. Then it disappeared, and Lyra's spike took a step backward. dot dot dot. Then she took a step back forward. Why? A text box of gold text popped up as soon as I hit A to advance it. I don't know. It just happened. Well, if it was an accident, then I wished it almost shot my DS again. I had to clench my teeth just in case. It wasn't that scary, but still pretty unsettling. Thank goodness Dad hadn't come in to see what was wrong with me. But then again, I was usually quiet when focusing on games. Another yes/no scanner popped up. I swallowed thinking, and then decided it was most sensible, and pressed A. No. It wasn't an accident, Lyra. But what are you saying? I didn't by accident of the mind, perhaps. But I killed this Pokemon on purpose, Lyra. What? They died painlessly. No worries. That's why there was no marks or even blood on them. I had Zooter. I let out a small gasp. The game was using my Pokemon's names. Toxic them, so they would die without pain. Poison is painless. The only thing you feel is energy ebbing. I thought they should be put out of their misery, but maybe what I was wrong. Don't know why I thought that, Lyra. Knowledge tried went back into a series of thoughts. And Lyra was speaking again. Her sprite had taken another step back, but Lyra's sprite took another step backward on the rug that marked the end of the room with the entrance to the outside. Why? Like I said, I don't know. Then she departed, and Gold was left alone in the room, and I frowned. I felt oddly sad. Empty inside, too. Was this how Gold was feeling? His childhood friend had left, and he didn't even know why he killed his rival's Pokemon outside of seeing them suffer. At least he had been so heartless to give them a lot of pain. He let them die. Then I realized. Gold! I said into the mic, feeling stupid but brave. You killed him because they were being abused by Silver, right? He kept on getting mad at them, and abusing them, and yelling at them. So you killed him to give them a release from the hell they were in. The sprite didn't move, but I smiled. I felt better now. I was still quite sad, and it was like I was feeling Gold's exact emotions. Or maybe he was feeling mine. So don't worry, Lyra and Silver will both realize this. And I bet you'll have Lyra talking to you really soon again. Heck, I bet they're even talking with each other about it right now. Then I sighed and saved the game. There's really nothing else I could do. Everywhere but the save option in the menu was blocked after I popped it up. Even exiting did nothing. After I saved, however, Gold turned to face me, and I jumped in surprise. I had not hit the control pad. He took a step forward as if to go outside of the house, and then stepped backward. He seemed really hesitant to go outside. I could see why. I sighed and spoke into the mic again. Don't worry, Gold. Well, I promise. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I did the same movement, only slower. He was nodding this time, and I nodded back. I saved once again, assuring him this would save our conversation so he and I didn't forget, so to speak, and turned off my DS. In the morning I woke up, slightly nervous but somewhat raring to go. Turned on my DS before my laptop. I'll try to talk to Endgame and see if he agreed with me getting involved with this creepy game. Beep. The game turned on. Everything was normal. I shrugged and clicked the game file. It was normal. I was still in the room, and Gold was still alone. Mother wasn't back yet either. He was facing the door now, though right before I saved, he had turned to the side of his old accord. I sighed and tried to move him. It worked. He exited the door. Now we were back in New Barktown, and I was slightly apprehensive. What if Lyra and Silver came up to challenge me? What if my Pokemon had, overnight, been killed by Silver? This compelled me to open up my menu to see my team. It was normal. Everyone was where they were, and Charles urged me to go onward when I talked to him. A sad expression popping above his head. It was like he understood. I let out a long breath of slight disappointment, but mostly relief, before pushing the control pad. I was having him walk towards the tree. As I hoped, upon reaching it, I saw Lyra and Silver there. The Sneasel corpse was gone, but there was a grave under it. There were several more graves to the size of the tree. The rest of his Pokemon that I, Gold, had killed. Hello, said a text box. It was a pink font. Lyra was speaking. I wonder where Meryl was. It usually followed her. Maybe she left it at home. I'm sorry, Gold, Silver. Wait, why was she apologizing to both of us? I'm sorry, but I I can't forgive you, Gold, or you, Silver. And suddenly her sprite took off. I made Gold walk up to Silver. He spoke and I frowned at what he said. She said she wouldn't know what she did if her Meryl died. And I noticed that there were not 6 graves, but 7. Silver, you jerk face. I was 13. What was I supposed to say? So I killed it. His text went on with a haunter I caught. I let it go. I learned my lesson. Gold. He had learned, huh? I need to love my Pokemon. Not hate them or get mad, but really love them. Yes, I found myself saying to the mic, answering for Gold. That's exactly what you need to do. I sighed in relief as Silver left, presumably to find new Pokemon, to get a new team. Then he stopped and turned. With Gold, rest assured, I will always hate you for the rest of my life. I shuddered and Gold took a step backward. Then Silver stalked off, looking quite, I don't know, but for some reason I could tell that he was angry. Gold turned to face me, a player. And then he took a step forward, then a step backward. It looked like he was nodding, sort of. I nodded back, then grimaced. What to do with Lyra? The poor thing. Her only Pokemon, Meryl, was dead now. It was my fault. It was my and Gold's fault. I brainstormed. Gold. I said it to the mic. He turned to face me. Let's go catch our new Meryl. So we did. We just named it Meryl and brought it back to her house, searching for her. She's not here. She's not here, said Gold in a text box as soon as we entered the house. Her mother wasn't either. And I stopped as Gold seemed to sigh. Her text box now read something else. Sophia. I blinked, but wasn't surprised. Maybe I should disappear. Like Red. Maybe I should go disappear. Will you... I swallowed and pressed A, letting his text flood the box again. Please restart. Please. Let me forget what happened. I stared to the mic and dog. Restarting would mean Gold's entire history was forgotten. Silver would forget his lesson. Lyra would have her Meryl back. It would mean that all of this hadn't happened, and something drove me to delete it, but I also didn't want to. The text box changed its text, as if sensing if I was thinking. Don't worry, said Gold. I will be reborn, so to speak, as Ethan. If you play as Lyra, and she won't be the one with the dead Meryl. I won't have a Meryl if you restart, but it's better than Silver going mad because of the torture he inflicted. I sighed and blinked. A sound had come out of nowhere, and the sound that indicated when someone was talking to me from my laptop. 1 second, I said to the mic. Now Gold's text box said okay. Tell Endgame hello for me. Blinking, I glanced at my laptop. It was Endgame, sure enough, talking to me. Hey, Endgame, I typed. Should I restart my heart, Gold? Why? He typed back. You just made it past the Elite Four. Because. Gold asked me to restart so he could forget killing Silver's Pokemon. Gold? The person in your name. Yeah, he knew your name. Well, if he wants to forget, then why don't you let him? I frowned, then took up my DS. Yes, Endgame was right. Gold did deserve this. I wonder why no one had done it for Red, judging by the stories I had read of Red. I sighed and said it to the mic. I'm sorry, Gold, but you do deserve it. I will let you. Please, make sure I'm safe. Because I'm going to play as Lyra. I'm going to keep her name Lyra. No worries. I saved and soft reset. In the menu, I chose New Game. It asked me twice if I was sure. I answered yes to both. And then, when I entered the game, I was already Lyra. They gave me an option. I was in her house, not Gold, and our mother said hello to us, and to go see Professor Elm. I sighed. Poor Gold. Then, as I exited the house, a boy who looked like him crashed into Lyra/me. There was no barrel. I actually said hello into the mic, and he seemed to jump. Hello, said a text box with golden text. I smiled. It was Gold speaking, not Ethan. I'm sorry for all the mistakes I made while reading this. Especially you hear the voices seeing as this is your fanfic. The left and right buttons kept on I kept on pressing those two. But anyway, this is a really good creepypasta. I personally liked Tarnished. I thought Hear the Voices did really good on it. And some people would agree it's more of a Sendy pasta than a creepypasta. Most of the time, mainly because it's more sentimental than creepy. Anyway, that's all I really have to say for now. So, this is Death Hunter 4, signing out.